Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast, the podcast and talk show where we have digital discussions from the worlds of TV, film, pop culture, sports, news, music, everything really, depending on a guest. We talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats. My guest is an actor, been in a show called Orange is the New Black as Skinhead Helen. We're finally getting this interview done. We're with Francesca Curran. Francesca, welcome to Popternative. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me on. We've been wanting to do this for a while.
It's been a minute for sure. It's been a long time. It's just I feel like it's weird. I feel like our schedules were just kind of like the opposite. Like when you were able to do it, I couldn't, and vice versa.
Yeah. Well, it's also hard when you're in prison, so.
That is that is very
it
true.
It can be a little bit of a hang up.
You know, it's pretty funny too when, usually I'll start my intro and I'll be like, when I interview someone, it's like, you will recognize my guest from this TV show, right? Like I can't say that with you.
Yeah.
Like at all.
I love it. Thank God you can't say that. That's such a compliment.
I mean, what a tell us like how like that whole process. Like I can't get over that. The makeup, your shaved head, like that's crazy.
Yes, it was so crazy. It was such a crazy transformation, but also like the most fun thing in the world because it's such a contrast from who I am. So I got to be like this rough, like slugger that I'm totally not. And and that transformation really is what got me into character and made me feel like I really was Helen and that I really was an inmate. So that was definitely essential to like getting into who I needed to be for the day. The transformation was crazy. Yeah. So for 3 years, I had my head shaved every day, Monday through Friday. I'd get like a little bit of growth on the weekend and then right back off. Tattoos put on for hours every morning. And like I always say, I was the first person in and the last person out of the makeup chair. So super early call times, like 4 a.m. and then getting out really late at night after a long day of shooting. So tattoos all over my body. I had face tattoos, head tattoos, all over my arms. Pretty much all over. They even would put the ones on that you wouldn't necessarily see for the scene. So it was a commitment, but so fun to play such a like hard character.
And obviously, your character you were around for a few seasons, but your character was really involved also with like the prison riots and like the takeover. Yeah. That was like a big kind of part for Skinhead Helen. And it's just like, so was it when doing kind of those scenes and like those kind of chaotic scenes and everything? I mean, I hear that those scenes took a long time to shoot. Is that true? Like one or two scenes could take like a whole day. Is that true?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there were definitely times where I think I remember in one of the riot scenes where like the SWAT team comes in season 5. I think we started shooting the scene and it was one scene. I think we started like 8 a.m. and we wrapped like maybe midnight that same day. Wow. And it was just like take after take after take because there's so many technicalities to it and getting the right angles and resetting and choreography and combat instructors and people kind of like helping you through it, and it's really such a clinical process. That's what's so funny is because it's so in a way it's so surgical. Mm-hmm. And so you see the finished product and everything is like wham bam, like everything seems so smooth, but as many actors know, it's down to every movement, every look, every every physicality, and so it takes a long time.
Absolutely. Now I do have to ask this because I can't assume anymore because some people didn't have the time or some people just don't do it. Did you watch Orange is the New Black, like the episodes you were in? Like, did you watch them?
I did because it's so funny because by the time the show ends up coming out, it feels like it's like ages ago. Like you would wrap 6 months before. We would wrap, like around, I think January, and then the show would come out like around June or July. And so by that time you're like, wait, what did I do? And so it's so interesting to rewatch it and be like, also, I really wanted to see what I was like as a badass. I was like, come on, I have to see like, I have to see what the end result is, what it looks like at the end. And just, you want to see your work pay off. So I think I watched it like once or twice. There were certain scenes that I would like rewind and I was like, oh, that was sick. But yeah, after that, you kind of feel like you've lived it. And but it's been cool to like hear through family and friends that have seen it, their spin off of it. So
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Now I found out before we did this is that you are from Minnesota originally.
Yeah, I'm from Minnesota. Don't you know?
It's funny because I think I told you that I'm Canadian, but I think I'm like, when people don't know I'm Canadian, I don't know. I feel like it's the best feeling. Like when I've like interviewed people from these shows and everything, and like they don't know I'm Canadian.
Yeah, you're like,
it's a cool feeling. I don't know why, but it's a cool feeling. So you're obviously in New York right now, but you're obviously you're used to like the cold weather in Minnesota, of course.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I was born and raised and didn't leave till I was like 18 to come to New York to drama school. And it's so funny though, because I'm used to the cold, but everyone always thinks that we like Northerners have like an immunity to the cold. Everyone's always like, come on, you're from Minnesota. This is cold to you. I'm like, guys, I still feel temperatures. Like,
it blows my mind. Like when I talk to, people that are born and raised in like Los Angeles, right, or California, it just blows my mind that these people have not like witnessed, unless they visited, like they have not witnessed snow, they have not been through like cold weather. Like it's crazy to me.
Yeah, like my best friend in drama school was from Hawaii, and she's still one of my best friends. And she was like, I remember showing her pictures on my phone of Christmas time, and she's like, oh my gosh, the snowflakes. And I was like, yeah, it's like a normal Tuesday. Like, we never got snow days because you're just desensitized from it. Like,
it's insane, but it's also something too, like, we're kind of like naive in the sense we're like, oh, it's not that bad because we're used to it, right? But like, it's true. Like someone showing up to like,
driving through like a fatal blizzard, and I'm like, oh, this is just another Wednesday. We're okay.
Well, I remember a couple of years ago, Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, the nation's capital, where I live right now. It was actually for 1 hour. It was like the coldest like city in the world.
For an hour.
Like for an hour, like technically based on like the temperature. That's insane though. Like it gets really cold here.
I don't want to like be dramatic, but we're kind of survivors.
Pretty much.
Like we're kind of warriors. Like
there's some days where I'm walking my dog and I'm like, this is so cold. Like so cold.
I remember, I remember moments like walking back from school or walking back from the bus or whatever when I was a kid and just being like, so why do we put ourselves through this? Like, this is by choice. Why do we live here? And like asking my parents, can we move? They're like, no, Francesca. Like,
it's crazy.
You're just gonna have to adapt.
And of course, Canada known for the hockey, but the USA is obviously, becoming a hockey powerhouse. I mean, they just won the World Junior Hockey Championship. In Minnesota, a lot of players are coming from the state of Minnesota. A lot of players.
Like it is a hockey player breeding ground. I always say, like, literally as babies are being born, they're putting skates on their feet. They're like, go forward.
Oh man, it's a lot.
Default.
Yeah,
it is. It's just a default. Like people think I'm kidding when I say that. I'm like, no, you don't understand. If you're not in another sport that you're like really good at, you're a hockey player, and it's a commitment.
Well, here's what I find interesting because you said you liked hockey. You never played hockey though, right? Growing up,
I never played hockey. I was always a theater kid, and I was always just like, I was just like made for the stage. Just, that's like where I was.
Oh, absolutely. No, but the thing is, the enrollment and growth of women's hockey is insane right now. So I feel like a lot of your friends that have kids that live in Minnesota and they're girls, they might play hockey or want to play hockey. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're going to play hockey. Yeah. It's so cool. It's just like an expectation. I love that. They're just like, no, she's going to be a hockey. And also it's not like, go play hockey, enjoy this hobby. It's like, go play hockey so that you can go to the NHL. Like the kids that I grew up with around me, it was like train hard, skate every single day, conditioning, all like hardcore. And they're like young kids. And guess what? Most of them made it to the NHL.
I know it's
just
crazy.
my friends, just like my neighbors, just like normal kids that I grew up with are playing in the
Anyone
NHL.
on the top of your head that
Nick Leddy plays for the
yes.
Islanders.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh, yeah. There's a couple of them.
Nick
The Riley
Leddy.
brother. I don't know if you know the Riley brothers.
Yeah.
Mikey,
like
Connor,
Riley, like
Connor Riley, Mikey Riley.
Mike Riley?
Yeah.
Like he played. I think he plays for the Senators now.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
TJ
Ottawa
Oshie.
Senators. Yeah, Oshie. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
TJ Oshie is like TJ Oshie. I feel like is like that traditional hockey route. Like he played like the like the college hockey, then went to like TJ Oshie is like very popular. Like
yeah.
Iconic.
But I knew like Letty was like our family friend growing up and stuff. So it's just fun to see these kids like do well, you know, and it's just funny. You turn on the TV and you're like, oh, you
Absolutely.
know, he was just at my graduation party and, you know, he's just chilling, playing.
So you're a sports fan. Getting back to the acting, is obviously like being in kind of like a sports movie or a sports show kind of on the bucket list a little bit. Is that something you really want to do?
So badly.
Yeah.
But I want to play the athlete. Like that would be such a different thing for me.
Yeah.
I've done like the hardcore thing now that I've been like an inmate, and I can do the feminine thing because that's just who I am. But I want to play like an athlete. Like that is my dream. I'm also a golfer, so I think that would be really interesting to play.
And hockey
some sort
and
of
golf
female...
is like a tag team. They love each
yeah,
other.
it is. It's like and like I literally hit the golf ball like I'm hitting a slap shot. So little Happy Gilmore action.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Can we talk
so
about
great.
like how Ben Stiller's role in Happy Gilmore is one of the most like iconic, underrated things of all time?
Literally iconic, legendary, and it never gets old. Like I quote it daily.
Caddyshack, classic. Well, it's funny too
so
because
be cool.
the Mighty Ducks movies were like my favorite movies growing up, and I've interviewed a few of them on my show. Like I interviewed like Matt Doherty, who played Averman, and it's just like just interviewing them about like what it was like and like how they had like no idea it was gonna be like how it became and how big it became.
How it blew up.
It's funny, like you don't know. No,
and that movie, I love that movie with my whole heart. And so much of that is in Minnesota, or like the players from Minnesota. So I love when they do the lineup scene. And they're like, and he's like,
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah, and he's like, Mike Johnson, Minnetonka, Minnesota. I'm like, yeah. Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
It's so cool. Funny. But it's really interesting too, because you know, we were talking about I'm Canadian, yes.
I love it so much. I love it. I'm jealous.
I did a tweet. So I have to tell you then, you're gonna enjoy them. That I am a big. So are you a fan of the dad jokes? Do you like the dad jokes?
Yes.
Okay.
Highly.
Because I have the dad jokes like on demand.
On cue.
Like on cue. Like did you hear about the Did you hear about the kidnapping?
What kidnapping?
It's okay. He woke up. Or like, why shouldn't you trust stairs?
Why?
They're always up to something.
Oh my god.
Or you know, I used to work at a shoe factory, but I quit because it was soul destroying.
Oh my god, no.
And that restaurant we went to on the moon, you know, we really enjoyed it. Like great food, but zero atmosphere. I know, this is bad.
Immediately, I'm just picturing you with like Reeboks and cargo shorts. Like just
the dad bod.
Dad, just a dad. You just became a dad. Congratulations, you're a father.
It's crazy because they're a good icebreaker. Like, cause I'm interviewing. I was on like the
good
press
icebreaker, but don't use it as a pickup line.
Oh,
promise.
Too late for that. I don't know. I don't know, but like. I remember like I was interviewing some people from Outer Banks when we had like when the pandemic first kind of started, their show came out, exploded, and like they're doing like so many interviews, right? So I'm doing these interviews with them, and I just kind of want to do things that they're getting the same questions, right? Like, what's it like being on a show during the lockdown? Yeah, so I'm just like, you know what? Like, I had like a dad joke book. Just like lying around, and just like, you know what? I'm gonna try some, and people loved it.
You're like. So you're on Outer Banks. So what more appropriate than to hit you with a couple dad jokes?
It was the most random thing, but it's just like, the demand, like the interviews they were doing, they were probably just sick of the same questions, like over and over again.
Yeah,
Like
you just get
it's
the
the same thing when
question.
you do like Orange is the New Black. Like the people must have told you the same questions over and over again when you did that show.
I think, and it's like, yeah, you get the same like series of questions, you know, but I think it is just difficult to like think of new interesting material when, you know what I mean? People tend to want like the same answer, you know, they want answers from the same type of thing. So it's like, what was it like being on set? Like they want juice, and you're like, no, I had a great time.
But
Everything
the thing
was
is,
lovely.
it's like it's one of those things where, you know, you do interviews and people tell you, you know, just heads up, like just try not to ask about this. And it's kind of like it kind of feels like obvious, like that you wouldn't, like you would hope common sense would be like you wouldn't ask that. You know what I mean?
You're like, are there people that are asking these
Yes,
things?
that's literally my reaction, Francesca.
Yeah.
Like 100%, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause, well,
And trust
apparently
me,
there are.
There are. But that's mostly like on a red carpet when they have 2 seconds and they want the quick juice and they're like, what do you think about da-da-da-da?" You know, and it's like they want like that gut instinct like reaction where you say something and then you like, oh, I put my foot in my mouth.
For sure. You got me excited because you brought up red carpets, and this is something I really want your opinion on. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's like you knew I was gonna ask you this. Okay, so
I did.
obviously the pandemic, there's no red carpets, not a lot of award shows, there's not a lot going on. There's not a lot of appearances. It's all virtual.
Yeah.
Okay? It's all like the virtual junkets, this interview. Obviously, a lot of people miss kind of the face-to-face interactions. They miss the red carpet. They miss the screenings and everything. They miss that stuff. You should talk to them. But think of the financial aspect of it. Think about how cheaper it is to do them virtually.
I think about it all the time.
Like, this is so... even like auditions, right? Like flying in for an audition, or I'm just saying...
It's all virtual. And like, I'm nervous because I think that people are realizing how much money they're saving doing it virtually. And I'm worried about the future. Like, will red carpets ever be a thing again?
I don't know, because especially those junkets, right? Like Orange is the New Black, right? Like they did junkets, right? Like people, and it would be like the
and you're traveling. And,
the leads did like a junket, right?
Yeah.
And it's in one location. So if they're not all at that location, they all have to kind of fly in, and the journalists have to fly in. Like it's just a lot of money.
It's a whole shebang. Yeah. And they're like, wait, this is a Zoom call, guys.
Yeah, like, and like, there's also like the glam too. Like isn't the glam a big thing too? Like getting them all ready for the press junkets. Yeah,
glam and stylists and hair and and the journalists and the travel costs, and even if it's local, it's like it costs so much money and time, and people are realizing like we can be completely efficient and get the information that we need and entertain people and do this virtually and then just post it, and it's probably going to get more viewership.
Oh, absolutely. I did also have to ask you this, because for the people that kind of follow you on social media, you do have a pretty good following on Instagram and a lot of engagement everywhere and a lot of fans and followers. Just kind of like more of like a serious question. I mean, do you ever think about the fact that like with that big following, you do have like, you have a responsibility, right? Like what, like in terms of like what you post and everything, because like, does it ever hit you that you have that big kind of audience at your disposal? So you have to kind of be like conscious of it. Like, do you ever think about that, Francesca?
All the time. It's like the 3 a.m. thing where I'll be like fast asleep and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't post about this. And to be like, seriously though, like speaking seriously, it is a huge responsibility, and it's something that I'm conscious of constantly, and it's always on my mind because it's such a delicate balance of like, I want to post about something that I'm passionate about or that I believe in, but if I post about one thing, there's an expectation to post about everything. So it's like, you know, like I've posted about something in the past that I thought was really important, and something that really hit home to me, and whether it be like a social issue or a racism issue or whatever it may be, or just like bringing awareness to something, or if it's like a charity or something that I choose to do or speak up about, then you post about that. And then if you happen to stay silent about something else, it's like, hey, wait, you posted about a no bullying charity. Why are you not posting about, you know, like,
and they're quick. The fans are quick too to call you out on that stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They definitely keep an eye on what you're posting, what you're not posting. And people are very quick to share their opinion on that too. So it's something, and I'm just a naturally sensitive person. So it's something that weighs heavily on me a lot. You know, I do feel a responsibility to use my platform for good and use my platform to spread as much information and awareness as I can. But it's also like, I want to keep social media fun and light too. It's like, it's such a fine line that I'm still trying to find, and I probably always will be, because it's like, I want to share fun things and like vacation posts and whatnot, but I'm also very cautious to be private on my social media.
Yeah.
And not like expose my family or friends too much or where I'm at. But yeah, no, I think it's also a blessing though too to have that many followers, because it's like, if I need to get a message out, or if there's somebody that I want to help, or whether it's like a missing pet or a charity or someone that's raising money for a good cause, it's like, I'm happy to help and use that
Oh,
demographic.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's definitely crazy too. And like it's one of those things where, you know, I used to be like that tweeter Instagrammer where I always like post like stories about like waking up with my coffee and stuff. And just like at one point I just kind of just like, no, like I'm just like stop. So like the people that follow me now, like it's like, and it's one of those things too where, especially on Instagram, when you don't post as much as you used to, like the followers go down. Like it's a thing. Like it is.
It's so stressful. Like I was just discussing this with someone because I used to be the same way. I would post like literally every 30 minutes an update of my day, like plants or like what I was doing in the morning or me on set or, you know, a picture in my trailer or whatever it may be. And then there came a point where I was like, I'm not actually present in my life. Like I am so focused on who's viewing my stories and what I'm posting and making sure that I'm creating and making consistent content, that I was so not present in my own life, and it was like taking a toll on me. It was like, wait, I mean, like at lunch with friends and we're having a conversation and I'm posting a picture of my salad. Like, what am I doing? I'm not actually with them. You know what I mean? So I also stopped doing that. And then the second that I stopped doing that,
yeah,
literally plummeted.
I bet like especially the TikTok people. Like I feel like the TikTokers like have to post all the time, or like they'll get a big dip quick.
They're like, it's been 2 hours and I haven't seen a video of you dancing. I might die.
But that's the thing too with like podcasters and interviewers too, Francesca, where that's why we're always pitching and requesting interviews, because it's scary when like if you're not able to get a lot of things, you have a schedule and like there's not much to post. It's like, like Popternative hasn't posted anything in a while. Like what's going on? That's why we kind of have as much content as we can. We're posting on the daily and the weekly and everything, because it's important, like the flow, you know what I mean?
It is important. Yeah, it definitely is. But it's just so funny how like you'll go away, and I went on a vacation and I turned my phone off for 2 weeks when I went to Mexico last time pre-pandemic. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do this for me. Like I need to just unplug. And I like turned my phone back on and I was like, where did all my followers go? Like people were genuinely upset. Like I even had DMs like, we don't know where you went. Like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this whole social media world is so strange to me. I still can't figure out like the algorithms. Like
it's crazy. No,
I also think if you overpost, you can also get unfollowed too.
Yes, but it's weird because on YouTube, like when we post like videos all the time, right? Because they're like 15-minute interviews and it's a lot of different things, right?
Yeah.
And like, no, we actually like go up subs. Like it's
when
weird.
You post
like you
more?
would think, oh yeah. That's why I feel like it's interesting.
Huh.
Yeah, definitely. Like a lot more. And like what I'll do too is, you know, the time zones and everything. So it's like a thing, like before I go to bed, like, cause I'm like a night owl. I'm working on a lot of stuff all the time at night. Yeah. I'll like post YouTube videos like before I go to bed. So they're up at like midnight Eastern, but like it's other time zones. It's like different times. Right. And I'll wake up the next morning and like, just because of those 2 videos, like we went up like 8 more subscribers. Like, cause I kind of like check that stuff all the time. Like it's a bit crazy, but like, it's wild. Yeah. The stats.
That's so interesting. Oh my gosh, my followers are about to get so spammed. Sorry if you follow me. I'm about to like absolutely dump a whole photo album on my page. No, I'm kidding.
Absolutely. Well, Francesca, thank you so much for coming on Popternative.
Thank you so much for having me. That was so fun.
I know, absolutely.
Such a joy.
So where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything?
You can follow me on Instagram at Francesca_Curran and on Twitter at Francesca Rain.
Amazing. Well, I'm so happy we're able to do this, and hopefully we'll do it again soon.
Yes.
And it won't be like a year or two.
Yeah. Maybe we can do it in like a year in Canada or Minnesota.
Absolutely. That'd be awesome. Well, this has
To
been
my fellow Northerner.
absolutely Canada, Minnesota. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Francesca Curran and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.